computer. So welcome. People who are here in person and people who will eventually see this recording. So happy to have you here today. All right, I want to jump right in and start us off on just kind of debriefing what we read before we jump into details of this study this morning. The first question or item for people is in reading the section of page 40 to 62, which was mostly about grounding, and then we talked a little bit about window of tolerance, and then the 3 tests. Especially talking about grounding, what did you find to be most interesting or intriguing or helpful? Just so that I kind of have a feel for where you're at with things.
Have any questions?
And does anybody have a question about something?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Is there a possibility that sometimes we go into freeze mode and we don't even realize we're there?
Absolutely. If a classic example of freeze mode is if somebody hears devastating news and they go into shock, or they've just been in a big accident and they go into shock, and that's a predictable thing because the catastrophe is so big that they just go into it, and they would not be at all aware that somebody else would probably need to point out, hey, I think you're in shock, right? And so emergency workers would know to look for that because it's so predictable. All right. Can you think of another instance in which people would go into freeze, kind of slide into freeze mode and not be aware of it?
That's why I was asking.
Okay. I'm a good example, so I'll go into that. When I was little and I was in the situations of abuse,
okay,
that's two ideas that are too much for my brain, and so when it was going on, I would dissociate. So my mind was not in this place. My mind is out on the playground, or it's out in the backyard, or it's up in the hill. And so my mind is doing that, but I'm not aware that my mind is doing that. When I was about 5th grade, I was talking to a friend of mine, another 5th grade girl, and she could remember in detail what her kindergarten classroom, and she could point out from memory, sitting in front of me was Jane, and then this, and Barbara, and then this person, and then me, and we had a rabbit, and and it occurred to me, I had no memory of the kindergarten year, none. That was, I think, the first time I realized that my brain was systematically erasing certain memories. Okay. And so that was the first time I was aware that it had done that. Okay. So, and if somebody is an adult that has had trauma like that, our body gets in the habit. I mean, it's like there's this little greasy slope that quickly takes us there. So anything that happens that's kind of sort of overwhelming, there we are out the door. It's like, I didn't realize I was shutting down. And so we can shut down kind of often. Yeah. And not be aware of it at all.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Can that occur with someone who has post-traumatic stress disorder?
Absolutely. PTSD would be, comes about because there's some kind of big trauma.
Right.
Yeah. where you have deep trauma, freeze mode often follows. But PTSD in soldiers tends to veer into more anger, fight mode quickly rather than freeze, I mean, so that there's a potential to go into any of them. Like somebody hears a car backfire and you're back in Nam or something, and are looking around for a place to hide. So that's flight mode. Okay, do you see? All right. Any other question? Those are good questions.
Well, I think that sometimes we don't realize it, but sometimes when we are going through something that seems to be overwhelming,
Mhm.
we just kind of say, stop world, I want to get off. And all you want to do is just go and curl up on your bed and everybody leave me alone.
Yeah,
And it is a type of freeze mode, right?
yeah, yeah. Uh, Another kind of freeze mode is to go into depression or, listlessness and have that go on and not be aware the degree to which our body has placed us artificially into depression, that 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 we could come out of a little bit by doing a drill. Okay, all right. Any other questions? These are good.
Yeah,
I could talk about this. I think that the whole topic of the way that the body processes overwhelming pain or overwhelming trauma is absolutely fascinating. And glory to God. I mean, glory to God. I think that our brain really would explode if we had, the impact of some of the tragedies that have happened to us. The Lord allows us that little extra time in which to kind of be able to orient ourselves to deep tragedy. So it's a blessing. Okay. But then the blessing can get out of hand. All right. Okay. Now, yes,
I have a comment. So,
say it loudly.
Say it loudly.
oh, when somebody experiences a panic, full-blown panic attack and they freeze, is that another type of freeze mode?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they're aware of it, but their lips start turning blue. They don't
Yeah.
want no one to touch them.
Yeah.
Their bodies start going numb. And the only reason I say that is because I've had issues with panic attacks, and
Yeah.
I have had those dreadful experiences.
Yes. Yes. So we are boldly marching into all of those most terrible times to do the drill. Yes, that's exactly what we're talking about. Yeah. And when you are in a panic attack, it's very difficult to reason with someone who is in a panic attack. Or if you are in a panic attack, people cannot talk you out of it. Okay, so this is why, and grounding drill is not the magic bullet that solves every problem. Okay, it is one tool that can help to pull you back a little bit.
Right.
Okay, so yeah. So
Okay.
all right. Any other questions or comments? All right. Okay. I want us to do the drama game. What did I call it? The drama game. And I watched the recording last time, and some people were a little bit nervous if they were seeing other people doing the drill. And so I looked at the recording, and nobody can see you. All right. So feel free to knock yourself out and really go for broke. We're going to do two things this morning. One is the drama game, and one is I want to actually do grounding drill and just go through it. And for both of those, I'm going to put a slide on the screen. So that's what people are going to see. All right. But okay. So
Yeah.
now Diana, Claudia, and Maria, I want you to really go for broke on this and don't be looking at the other people. And Barbara and Alicia, yeah, I want you to really sell it, okay? I'm doing this, and don't worry about that anybody will see you, okay? So are we on our honor that we are going to pay attention to ourselves, and we are not going to laugh at anybody else in our group that are doing anything, okay? So the first thing that we're going to do is the drama game, and this is to illustrate the point that our body brain really, really expresses its emotion through our body postures and our expression. And so I want you to see what's going to happen when we switch from one to the other. So the first one, before I go to the first slide, I want you to, I'm going to do this, and I want you to see how much let me get really, really, okay. The first one is going to be somebody who's really, really mad. And so I want your face to go, okay. So I want you to do that. I want you, just do that. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. The level of throw yourself into whatever the posture is. Really sell it like you were that you needed somebody else. They will die if they don't understand what you're wanting to convey. Okay. So really intense of whatever. Okay. And then when we do it, I want you to get it with it so that you're matching that. And then I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to allow body to catch up, and I want you to feel what is the emotion that you are now genuinely feeling in your body. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
So into the emotion, right? And then close your eyes, and then wait for body brain to catch up. And what feeling does that do? And as soon as you've got that, then start saying it out loud. Okay. So I want all the mutes on. Okay. So that you can say it and you don't have to be turning something on and off. Okay. All right. You got it? All right. So this is going to be super fun. It's going to be a riot. All right, let's share this and see where we're at. Okay, and I'm going to take these off of this. Okay, and then, okay. So we are focusing only on the info we need to do the grounding drill, and this is part of it. Okay, so we're going to do this. Okay, do it. Go for it. Match it. Okay, what do you feel?
Tense,
10. What else?
heart beating fast,
Yes. What else?
Pressure in the brain.
Teeth clenching.
Yes. What else? What's the emotion?
Anger.
Anger.
Frustration.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Now let's talk. Take a deep breath. Okay. Now this one. Follow each one. What are the eyes saying? And what are the hands doing?
Stop.
Fear, no?
Fear. Yes. What else?
Get away from me.
yeah,
Get away from. Yes. What else?
Don't get closer.
Don't get closer. Yes. Is this girl winning the fight?
No.
No.
No, she's losing the fight, right? Okay, good. Now this one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. What else?
You talk to me. I don't care what you're saying.
I'm not listening. Mhm.
Yes. What
Yeah.
else?
I
Whatever.
don't trust you.
Ah, yes.
Really?
What is that word? I heard somebody say it.
Really?
Skeptical. Right? Somebody said skeptical.
I did. Yeah, yes.
Skeptical. Yeah, right. I don't believe a word. Good. Ah, deep cleansing breath. Match it.
Sad.
Sad. What
Yeah.
else?
Crying.
Overwhelmed,
There.
Overwhelmed. What else?
discouraged, yeah.
Discouraged.
Mhm.
Good.
Tired.
Tired.
Lost.
Yes.
Exhausted emotion.
Defeated.
Defeated. Absolutely. Okay. Deep cleansing breath. Feel it.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. What else?
Thanks.
Jesus.
Great.
Praying. What else?
Freedom.
Lord.
Freedom.
Thankful.
Yes. All right.
Relief. Mhm.
Relief. Okay.
Peace.
Peace. Worship.
Mhm. Praise.
All right.
Yes,
How was
Lord.
that?
Amazing.
Was that fun?
Yes.
Yes.
Wasn't that fun?
You feel good now.
So how did you like that?
I liked it.
It was a good one.
Did it feel,
It was releasing.
yeah, did it feel surprising to you how quickly your emotion changed to match the new posture?
Yes.
Did you see that?
Yes.
And we went from, really angry where it's aggressive and I'm about ready to punch you in the nose to, oh my gosh, like this. Okay. And just being in this posture makes you feel defeated, whereas this makes you feel aggressive, right? I mean, it's just a little switch of posture, right? Okay. So now, before we go on, what do you see about that?
I think it's a good exercise because it gives you a little bit of a lesson on emotional literacy.
Yes, yes, good, yes. All right. Now, what does this tell you about worship? When we walk into a church service, we walk in many different postures, and our body is in a lot of different mental spaces, aren't we? Right? And then we at least stand up to sing together.
Yes.
Okay. And if you're in a church that allows this and doesn't look down their nose at you, I mean, we're raising hands, right?
Oh,
And just changing our posture changes our mental space. Isn't that amazing?
yeah.
Okay. So what does this say if you're at home doing your quiet time and you feel totally blah? What should you do?
Get up and read and exercise.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
Shift the
wow.
posture. Okay. Now that you've connected that with body brain, isn't that an interesting thing to do? This, the language of body brain is body language. Okay. So that's why the second thing that we do when we do the grounding drill is that we deliberately shift our posture. So this, doing this whole game is to emphasize what exactly we are doing when we do the second step of the grounding drill. Okay, we are deliberately switching our body out of limp, like that lady, head down, arms kind of limp. Okay, and we are switching it, and usually we're off center, like this, like that, and we're switching it around, and we're making it the opposite of a fetal position of any kind. Okay, so that's to know what you're doing with that. Okay, all right. Any questions about that? Comments? Is that mind-blowing?
It is.
Maria.
We do that when I work at the prison. And so at the prison, being a counselor, you have to be very, very, you have to really, really be aware of your body language. You have to be aware of your facial expressions or even your tone of voice.
Yeah.
Because if you go in there with some of the body language that we just practiced or saw, then the inmates are going to take it in a way different way, and it can become a hostile situation.
Yeah.
So having that emotional literacy and being aware of your body language, what it says, can potentially save our lives working in the prison.
Mm-hmm.
So this is very good to really know.
Yeah. Great comment.
Dee, I'm glad that she asked the question, and it's just they are responding to body language.
Yes.
That is pretty much on the level of the body brain.
Yes.
So therefore, what we can kind of come to a conclusion that because of the incarceration, maybe that is where they most of the time they work on the body brain. I mean, that's the level they're working on. Body brain level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So pilots turned off, smart brains turned off.
Yeah.
Pretty much it's body brain.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or fight or flight. I mean, any of these survivor mode things, but we are not in normal mode in that kind of a setting. And if you are in a prison, you are on high alert at all times because it is not a safe place.
Yeah.
And so survivor mode is appropriate when you're, but if you live in survivor mode, 24/7, it would be good to learn a drill so that you can be wiser to deal with the danger.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let's just do there were a couple of things in the chapter notes, and I just want to make sure that we cover them just really lightly. Okay. One is back in the earlier section, it was talking about the robot and the robot's Prime Directive. Do you remember what that was? And let me see if I can find the page. But you remember the idea of the robot and the idea that there's a ship, as if our body is a ship, and then the robot is in charge of making sure that the ship survives. And so if something is happening that is overwhelming and the ship is going to self-destruct, if it stays aware, then the robot will shut the ship down. Okay, so the Prime Directive, let's see, do you remember what page that's on? I
Pretty
think
much at the beginning of one of the first pages.
Yeah, I think it is 31.
31.
Just make a note of that, page 31. And I've got it in big letters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right underneath where it says Prime Directive, make
Yes.
sure your mind survives.
Yes, what is the prime directive of the body brain?
Make sure your mind survives.
Okay,
When you say I'm losing my mind,
what?
when you say I'm losing my mind, then that's that's body brain saying no, you're not.
No, it's saying your mind will explode
Yeah,
if you are here, mentally here in this time and place,
yeah,
right? So like somebody just had a car accident and their mind would mentally explode if they were able to experience all the pain right away, or just the trauma of all that happened in that accident. Okay, so the mind says, oh, this is too much, boom, and we shut everything down. Okay, all right. So on page 40, I think I should have had more pages for that, but what would you think would be some keywords that help us to spot freeze mode? And just kind of guess.
But with what?
what would be the keywords that were in freeze mode?
Oh,
What about danger that's imminent?
Yes, that's closing in on it. Yes. I would say shut down.
Yeah.
If your mind is shutting down in some way, so the phrase shut down is a tip off that you're in freeze mode. So if you feel shut down in your mind, that you can't think, that you can't recall language, you're shut down into discouragement or shut down into paralysis. So those are visible and emotional cues. Okay. The other two words that I would say are doom and despair. When you are shut down, nobody shuts down into freeze mode because everything is peaches and cream. The mind is believing doom. Okay. And
right.
even if it doesn't express it, it's saying, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. Right. So there's that element of doom and there's the element of despair. And this is, I can't move. So it's not, I'm freezing as an act of my will. I'm freezing, I can't move. And so I'm thinking, oh, I'm freezing. It's like the paralysis comes first and then the emotion of it. Okay. And that's why it shuts down emotion, because it's saying your emotions are freaking you out. So it's like,
Yeah.
so it can numb everything. All right. Okay. All right. So it's like, I can't move and nobody can help me. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, if somebody has a depression that's like lasts, like months and months, just doing the grounding drill will not take you out of that depression if it is physiological. Okay. Or if you are in a long process of grief, if you do the grounding drill, it's not that, oh, well, all is better, but we're pulling ourselves out of body brain's way of handling the grief. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Feedback?
Yes.
Comment?
Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Anybody?
Anybody? Okay. All
Okay.
right. Now, was the drill making sense? Do I need to kind of go over the parts, or are you pretty good on figuring out what the parts are? I'm sorry that the video isn't complete to do this, so I'm wanting us to, so I'm just going to kind of talk you through it. And in your outline, you see a copy of the grounding drill. It looks like this, and it's in your notes. and I have it in your notes so that you can, keep it handy. And what I'm going to do today with helping us to do the grounding drill is what I do on the video, okay? Because with the stand down, when we did the demo, it was just me doing it and without words, anything. I had told you about it, and then I did the steps. For freeze mode on the video, I will talk you through what it is. And why would that be that I would do a different technique when I'm doing grounding drill?
Because your brain is wanting to shut down.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Not only that, we have to speak the same language as our body brain.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And many times that if you are in actual freeze mode, you will not be able to remember all the steps of the drill. Okay. But if you can, go pull up the video or pull out your cheat notes, then you can walk through it. That's why we need to practice with grounding. Okay. So yes. Anybody? All right. Okay. How are we doing? Okay, I think we're doing okay. I'm on track with my little schedule of what to get done and when to be finished with things. Okay, there are 4 steps to the grounding drill, and I'm going to talk you through it, and then we're going to do it. Okay. First step, and remember that body brain shuts off, it disconnects a bunch of different things because it doesn't want us to be aware of this place and this time. Okay, so it is shut off a bunch of things. It already shut off pilot and a lot of the smart brain. Okay, so your language skills and your ability to remember things is greatly compromised if you're in freeze mode. Okay, so what we're going to do is we start at the feet and we end at the feet. So I want you to say feet, seat, labels, move. Okay, and let me see if I can do it. When I teach people, face to face, and it's not Zoom, I do feet. I want you to point to your feet. Point to your feet. And then I want you to go back and smack your butt. Seat. Okay, that's what I mean. Seat. There you go. Maria's doing seat.
Got it.
Labels. And I want you to put your fingers to go around the room and then move. And we're going to put our move. Okay, so let's do that again. Feet, seat, labels, move. All right. Feet, seat, labels, move. All right. Okay. So feet is going to have 2 parts. The first part is we can't do the rest of it until we have connected our brain with our body, because our body is the thing that needs to be aware and doing things. Okay. So what we do is we put hand to forehead, and then we look at our toe until we can feel our toe from our toes point of view. All right. And so this is not just looking kind of disembodied. My brain is over here and the feet are over there, and I can kind of see them. This is, no, I need to feel my forehead. So that's why we have you feel it, so that you can connect with your, this is my brain. And then I'm going to look at my toe until I can feel it. And so I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about what is your toe feeling, and then we're going to do the other one. Okay, does that make sense? Mm-hmm. And that's to connect our brain and our body again. If we if we don't do that first, when we try to do the squish the floor with our feet, that our toes are disembodied, and so we wouldn't have that connection. But once we can feel our feet, then we give our feet a task to feel the floor. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? And so in this, I want you to be focusing on, feeling it. That's why we squish the floor. So if you want to take off your shoes, you can do this, or you can just do it with your shoes on. Either one, whatever feels better to you. Okay. So that's two parts, toes and then floor. That's what that's going to mean. Okay. Then we're going to do seat, and what we're going to do in seat is we're going to, move your butt to be in the very back of the chair, whatever chair you're in. Okay, we're gonna move that, and then we're gonna take our spine and make the spine go straight up, so that it's going a little bit up like this, so that that's the exact opposite of a fetal position, because fetal position is all hunched over. So we want to be absolutely straight and spine a little bit up, and we want shoulders back, and then hands kind of out, so that we're in absolutely the opposite position. And I often do my hands out like this. You can also do this standing up, works really well to do it standing up as well. And that's just to stand centered, okay, with shoulders back and arms out like that. Okay, so that's an easy one. That naturally now has your face has been looking at the floor. So when we get to the end of seat, our eyes are out looking at the room. So now we're going to do labels, okay? And I want you, do you want to do it out loud? No, I think I want you in the group. I want you just in your head to say that, to point to some things and say the names of the things. Okay, so let's point to 4 things in the room, wherever you are, and just say the name to yourself. Okay, then I want you to come back, and I want you to add what color it is, each of the things. And then if there are any things that can be counted in your room or in your, whatever the space is, then, count them in your head, and that's labels. All right. And at the end, let's see, how about if say, okay, when you are done with doing those things. Okay. All right. And then, yes.
You cut up a little bit. Would you repeat that last phrase?
Okay. Oh, what was my last phrase?
After you said count them in your head, you said count them in your head, and
then say okay. So I know that you've done it. All right. And I'll be, just one for each Zoom slot. Okay. And then the last one is that we are going to clench the muscles in our feet. So put your attention to one foot, and I'm going to help you to do the muscles in one foot, okay, to remember to walk. And then we're going to do 2 or 3 practice steps of just being there and feeling the muscles, okay? And then let's see, how can I do this? Now let's see that. Okay, when we start walking, I want to take the steps around the room, and at the beginning, you'll be kind of really focused on each, and it'll be a lifting motion, and you're focusing on the foot, it's making the steps. About halfway, I'm going to say, now feel like you're going to glide. Now feel like you're going to glide, and then glide and glide, okay? And then by the end, when I want you to take like 10, 12 steps around your space, okay? And at the end, I want you to go, by my God, I can scale a wall. And by my God, I can scale a wall, and then come back to your chair. Okay?
Okay.
Okay? All right. Let's get back to this part.
More complex. It's the walking one. It's a little bit more complex.
We're do the best you can, and just think about doing it if you can't actually get up and do it. That's fine. Okay. So let me go back to, let's do the share screen. And we were at this one, and now let's go to this, and now there we go.
There we go.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right. So I want you to take your fingertips and put them to your
You froze up, Dee Dee.
What? What are you saying, Diana?
You said you froze up again.
Okay, am I back again?
No, you're back again. You're okay now.
All right. Put your fingers to your forehead and then look at your left foot and look at it until you can feel the toe from the toe's point of view. And think to yourself, what is my toe feeling? Is it cold or hot? Is it squished or relaxed? Is it in pain or does it feel nice?
Cool.
Okay. And now do the same thing with the other foot. Look at that, your right foot, until you can feel your toes from the toe point of view. And how does your toe feel?
Pain.
Wow.
Okay.
Pain.
All right. So now let's take our feet and let's take those feet and let's like squish the floor. And in your mind, I want you to feel what the floor feels like under your feet. And I want you to notice are you under carpet or linoleum or wood?
The carpet.
Wood.
Okay,
Carpet.
all right. And I want you to feel how strong the floor is under your feet. And I want you to just kind of think about how strong and steady the ground is under your feet. Okay, now let's do seat. I want you to move your position. I want you to sit back in your chair and unroll your spine so that it's absolutely straight and your neck is up. And I want you to put your shoulders back and your head, and then I want you to just be in that position, close your eyes and allow your body brain to experience that new posture. Okay, and then I want you to look around the room, and I don't want you to say this out loud, but just let me know when you're finished. In your head, say the name of 5 things that are in the room, and then the color, and then counting less than 10. And when you finish, say okay.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now let's turn our attention back to our feet. I want you to again go to the left foot. I want you to arch your toe so that you feel the muscles in your toe. And then I want you to add muscles. The toe, I want you to feel the muscles that are in the top of your foot, your ankle, your calf. Tense the muscles in your calf so that you feel all the muscles from your toe to your calf that would help you to walk. And then I want you to relax those and do the same thing with the other foot. Toe, top of the foot, ankle, back of your calf, and then relax. Now with those, I want you to do a full set where you arch the muscles in your left foot, and that would raise your heel, and then relax and do the same. So it's a practice step. Okay. Let's do a couple more where we're pretend walking, and focus all of your attention on the muscles for each of the steps. Now, if you can, stand up and put total focus on your left foot as it makes the step, and then your right foot. Okay. Total focus on each part of each step. And then begin to glide. Pretend that instead of going just a few inches when you move, that each step takes you 10 feet. You glide 10 feet, 20 feet. And then on the way back, I want you to left foot, by my God, right foot, I can scale a wall. By my God, I can scale a wall.
Oh my God. Scale the wall.
It's all too.
I can still.
I can scale.
Oh my God, I can stand a wall. I can stand a wall.
Yeah.
All right.
Diane,
Yes.
well, I don't know if I was correct, but I was telling my mom to say, what is this about the glide? Because now we started from the bottom of our feet and then on the calf. It's like we are connecting everything from the bottom up to the top, correct?
Yes.
We
yes,
end up with the arms. Oh,
yes.
very
Yeah.
interesting.
You're right. You're right. We're connecting the arm movement with the leg movement. Yes. Yes. I don't know about you, but I always feel like Big Bird when I'm walking around. I feel like just real gawky, and or like a turkey that's trying to figure it out, or something. It feels goofy. Did it feel goofy? Huh?
Wonderful. It
Huh?
was wonderful.
No, my mom, she said, it looked like, my mom said it's like a ballerina. My mom is like a more artistic. It's like it's like a ballerina.
Okay.
It's a good thing to take those type of classes.
Yes. That's a good way to look at it. Yes. Feedback, anybody? How did it feel to do that?
Relaxing.
Yeah, relaxing, she said.
Yeah.
Relaxing.
Relax.
Very liberating.
Yeah.
Especially the
Especially the ballerina.
Yeah. So we end up, and that feeling of doing this is a posture. And you felt that, huh?
oh yes.
Right? Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. Cool.
We were being goofy all over the place.
Huh?
You didn't see Rita at her pirouettes almost.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about grounding is grounding is very primitive, as if we were a little kid. Okay. And so we want to go back into normal mode, into the easiest thing possible. So going into play mode is I think the safest way to go back into normal mode if you're in grounding. It's like, I mean, you can't be really serious because you've been super serious and you've been super heavy. And so this kind of helps you to go into like, okay, now you're going to be a caregiver, caregiver mode or something like that. that's too sharp. We want to go from being the scared little kid to being the goofy little kid. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's,
Yeah.
yeah. And once you do that, it makes it so much easier to then be able to pray, because if we are praying and we are in full on freeze mode, the prayer is a prayer that the Lord will hear. Okay. But if we are in freeze mode, we have trouble hearing the Lord. Okay, because we're it's like we're the drowning man who's splashing around, and the lifeguard is trying to save the man, and he's splashing around. So the grounding drill kind of helps us to calm down and to kind of relax into a gentler mental space. Yeah. Okay. Any other comments? Are you there? How are we doing? Okay. All right. Okay. So marching ahead, I cannot believe that we are really on schedule. This is really cool. I
I'm sorry, I was on mute. I was on mute, but Maria has go ahead and
Yeah.
tell her.
Well, the grounding is very good. I really like it because when we present a curriculum to the inmates, a lot of the topics are really, they're difficult and they trigger trauma.
Yeah.
So before we let them go back to their cells, we do grounding exercises to kind of bring them down
Yes.
from that trauma state.
Yeah.
Because you don't want them going back to their cells mad or angry or emotional.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
then other things happen. So
Yeah.
it's really good. It's a really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with you talking about how it's used in prison settings. Isn't that interesting? Because this is very, very helpful information. Yeah. So I want this to be something that we use as Christians, so that
Yeah.
we are using, this is a valuable tool that people have learned. The secular learning how to deal with PTSD and things. So we can take advantage of it too. Okay. And for us, when we finish with grounding, our whole goal is so that we will end in the situation of being in the presence of the Lord in kind of a more hopeful state of mind. All right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and the MON, I don't recognize that heading, but yes, putting your feet to the floor, that grounding part. I didn't see the first one on that. Let's see. Grounding barefoot on dirt or grass helps to lower the heart rhythm, heals all the nerves. Okay, good point. Very good point. Are people frozen? Let's see if we can